So glad you've been able to take a few moments here on this Tuesday to talk about things that are encouraging. Now, one thing that is encouraging is to be a peacemaker, is to be one that is used of God to be a blessing to people who are struggling with one another. It's very interesting. We're living in a day in which there's a lot of disagreement about some of the key political issues, medical issues, and how churches should handle them, how families and people should handle them. In fact, a number of churches have actually been hurt by that. And we need to understand that God wants His people to have the right spirit toward one another. Now, we need to be strong and believe what we need to believe and make the right decisions. And I believe that it's important for us as churches to be courageous in this day. But we need to be very careful to have a right spirit toward one another. We read in 2 Thessalonians chapter 3 about how some were causing there to be divisions in the church there at Thessalonica over the teaching about the coming of the Lord and those that died prior to the rapture and other issues that were going on. And we read in verse 11 of chapter 3 of 2 Thessalonians, "For we hear that there are some which walk among you disorderly, working not at all, but are busybodies." They weren't even working because they were anticipating the coming of the Lord. And then he exhorts them that they should eat their own bread, and they should be working, and with quietness they should work. And then it goes on to say that we have to deal with things like that in verse 14. Then verse 15, "Yet count him not as an enemy, but admonish him as a brother. Now the Lord of peace himself give you peace always by all means. The Lord be with you all." Now, this is a very interesting passage, and we need to do everything we can to encourage folks not to be divisive. But we ourselves must not have a reaction to them so that we ourselves fall into the same trap. We should not count these as an enemy. But we need to stand with the leadership of a church. We need to stand with what is right and what is good in some of these kinds of situations and have a peaceable spirit, a desire to see the church have unity and have the power of God, and to not get caught up in all the political frustrations and all the things that can be divisive among people. Now, be frank with you, I feel very strongly about a number of these issues, but we've endeavored here at our church to keep a unity and move forward to stay on mission. And the way to be encouraged is not to look at those kinds of things and allow ourselves to get all frustrated, but to be someone that shows a heart of a desire to please God and not to prove something and not to allow themselves to get frustrated. But we need to instead be on mission, as we've said a number of times, to truly be focused on what is important and lead others to be focused on what is important and admonish people that we know and cause them to put God first, and sometimes have to set aside some of these things so that the great mission of the church can be accomplished. And so that's a great encouragement when God can use us that way. And may God enable us to be a blessing to those to whom we serve and those with whom we serve.